everybody. Welcome into the DNVR Lounge. Continuing on our player preview series for the Denver Nuggets 2020-2021 season. I hate that we have to say 2020, 2021.
Yeah.
It's like 4 games.
That would have been the only good thing to come out of if they moved the season to like
might have been worth
the entire
it.
summer.
It would have been nice to scrub 2020 from
the whole thing. It's so true. There's
it just
a little
never
stain of it on there. Today we're talking about what I think is one of the most interesting prospects to come through Denver in a long time. Markus Howard signed a 2-way contract, undrafted, signed a 2-way contract with the Denver Nuggets. Not a lot is known about him. We're going to tell you everything you need to know in this episode. He's a bucket getter. This is what he was, a bucket getter. Let's start by taking a look at last year's stats. This is, of course, his senior season stats. 27.8 points per game, which, by the way, led all of NCAA in points. He's the leading scorer in NCAA. And look at that, 42.2% field goal shooter, 41% three-point shooter, 59 true shooting. This guy, 4 straight years, he was a 4-year senior. 4 years, he shot 40% or better from the three-point line. This last year on 10 attempts per game.
10 attempts.
Guys, this dude is a bucket getter. I think number one shooter on the Nuggets roster. Yeah. What stands out to you when you see that, Harrison?
Well, just the percentages. And like you mentioned, the insane amount of attempts. All 4 years. This wasn't even like a one-year wonder. This was all 4 years where he was arguably one of the best shooters in college basketball. And when you look at his tape, I mean, this guy's 5'11". He's not the most athletic dude in the world. He's shooting contested shot after contested shot. Like, that's the thing. These aren't even like wide open looks. Everything is a tough look for him.
Right.
Everyone wants to make these comps. Who's the next LeBron? Who's the next Steph? Well, just in terms of college, Markus Howard really maybe is the closest guy to Steph we've seen. I mean, he shoots on such high volume, just in terms of how willing and dangerous he is from deep. But to Wynn's point, there's a lot of contested. It's almost like he prefers to shoot with a hand in his face. The highlight reel is something else.
He almost reminds me more, actually, of a Jimmer Fredette than a Curry. Because I think Steph was a guy that, like, you know, he has the passing to his game. He has more, a little bit of this.
Yeah.
I think Markus Howard is a pure bucket getter. I mean, that's his skill, and he's a 10 of 10 on it. It also sort of answers or asks the question, I should say, is how elite could Steph Curry be if he made him? Like how tiny can he be
before he's not an NBA
player? Because he is just 5'11". I mean, you're wondering, why is this guy undrafted? You're talking about him as this great shooter. You're comparing him to Steph. Well, he's 5'11". He's really small frame, small build. And, you know, we're going to talk about some of the other aspects of his game that don't necessarily shine. But as far as just pure shooting, I mean, he's great. Eric, do you like the pure shooter, small guard role? Do you like that player?
I mean, what's not to like? If you're making buckets, like what's better? I mean, this guy is so unbelievably tantalizing. He's like one of these.
He's just
like one of these guys. I don't know, man. Like one of these guys you put on the team,
Marcus.
Just straight microwave buckets. Like
he is a microwave.
And I like he has like a dark look to him. Like look at his eyes. He's got like
he's a killer.
He's got a killer look to him.
It's an interesting take.
That is an interesting take.
That's why I'm here on the show. That's why I'm here on the show.
He's got
I like he's got bad intentions behind those eyes.
Ooh, bad intentions. All right. Well, maybe that's a good thing. Let's look at our big question though for him, and this is the question surrounding Markus Howard. Is this guy an NBA player? Look at these little graphics here. Look at the little blinking. Is he an NBA player? Meaning, really his question is he an NBA prospect? Because, of course, he was undrafted. You know, Nuggets picked him up right away, and this is how if you don't know, this is how it works. Guys know when they're not going to be drafted. They know where they're going to go, and teams kind of know. So I think Denver went into this draft knowing Markus Howard, undrafted, we're picking up. We're making him a two-way guy. Wind, what's your read from what you know of him about? Is he Vogt? Is he an NBA level prospect?
I don't think he is.
Oh,
and
wow.
I could absolutely be wrong about that.
Doubters.
And I think when you have the shot making ability that Markus Howard does, like there's no point in writing him off.
Yeah.
I mean, when you can score like that, there might be a role for you in any basketball league. But the reality is at 5'11", he's not really a well-rounded enough player. Like, he's going to get targeted on the other end. He's not really an elite playmaker. And I think so often when we're talking about these undrafted or these two-way guys, it's can they identify their role and star in their role, a very contained one. I don't really know what Markus Howard's role is other than scorer. And so from that angle, that path, I'm not sure how he makes it to the NBA.
Yeah. Look, he's going to have to be an absolute knockdown three-point shooter. What he shot
First
in college.
of all, he's going to be.
Right. But, I mean, the increased athleticism in the NBA, the added length, you don't know how that stuff's going to affect him. He's got to be absolute knockdown to make it in the NBA. I think he's got a shot because the NBA is kind of trending towards role players being a little bit more specialized in some cases. If he can just be an off-ball guy that plays in certain situations and doesn't have to do a lot of the playmaking and just comes off screen and rises and fires, I think he's got a chance if he's in the right situation.
One of my takes with him specifically is, first of all, I think guys can fit in the NBA. It's just how versatile are they? Can they fit in every situation? Do they have to be in the perfect one? And I think he's a guy that probably has to be in the perfect situation because he is such a great shooter, but he is so small and you have to have the right pieces around him. And Denver right now probably doesn't, but he's always going to be a couple-year project. But again, the shot making is the one thing. And when I say shot making, it's not just 3-point shooting. It's his ability to get to the rim and finish. It's his mid-range game, his floater game, which is elite. All of those things, he can make work. It's just you got to really protect him everywhere else, including on the offensive end.
Right.
Because I don't know that he's much of a creator. He's much of just a gunner and a finisher. That being said, the guy doesn't miss. I think I've watched quality. Every shot he took in college. Every shot he took in college, and look, he takes impossible shots. And
It must have been a long night for you. It was a
very
lot
long.
of shots.
It was a very long day. Why do you guys want to get in the mood for a little role play?
Ooh. Consensual
Wait,
or
what?
non-consensual?
I'm actually going to call on you, Brendan, for a little role play here. Okay?
Alright.
Oh, my God.
I want you to imagine.
Is this a short joke?
I want you to imagine for a moment that you are incredibly talented. Okay, very likable.
It's a big stretch.
But really short. Okay, that's what I want you to. I want you to
see if you can get that mindset.
Yeah, I want you to get in the mindset of somebody who's maybe a little short. Okay, and I want to know how do you plan to overcome that at the NBA level?
Listen, guys, there's one path to me playing in the NBA, and it's no secret. Fill it up. Fill it up. There's maybe 5 people alive that can score better than I can, and if you can name them, I want to know. So, yeah, look, am I
Kevin Durant, LeBron James? I can name a couple.
This is how I feel.
Okay.
And look, I pride myself as a complete basketball player, but I didn't make a name for myself with the playmaking. I don't think anyone thinks of me as a defensive disruptor, but anyone who's ever played against me knows one thing. It doesn't matter where you are, where your hand is. If I get the ball, it's going through the bottom of the net. That's my path to the NBA, and no one's stopping me.
But Markus Howard, didn't Jimmer Fredette also have this plan of like, you know what, I'm good at getting buckets, nothing else. Why don't I just get more buckets?
Watch my tape, baby. Here's the thing. When you get to the next level, look, these guys don't forget how to shoot, Jimmer, but it gets that much harder to get your shot off. But I've never cared where the defender is. I don't care how close they are. There's no better contested shot maker in the nation than me.
Marcus, how good of friends are you with Jamal Murray? Like, would he be upset if you were not on the team?
I literally cannot answer that question.
That doesn't sound good for your prospects.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Marcus, I hate to disagree with you here, but I have a different take. I think your bucket getting is going to translate to the NBA. I think you need to get stronger. I think defensively you need to find an identity because right now I think you're just like a normal defender. You need to be a pest. If you're that small, you got to be a pest. But more importantly, you got to learn to play pick and roll. Isaiah Thomas made it work, guys. He made it work at that height, but guess what? He could score and pass. Elite passer. Good passer. Maybe average passer, not a great one. And I think, to me, that's the key for Markus Howard.
And I've heard Coach Malone talking in these media sessions. He wants guards that can run the pick and roll. That's why he likes my new teammate, Facundo Campazzo, despite his size.
Right.
It's a goal of mine. But I'll tell you what, man, with all these other guys, these 5'11", you're just trying to figure out how can they just stay afloat? How can they just keep their head above water? I know at the end of the day that when you're a bucket getter, you have star potential. No. So I'm not just trying to stay afloat. I'm not just trying to make it in the league. I'm trying to fill it up and be a star, and I believe I can.
All right, good job. Thank you for joining us, Markus Howard.
Yep. Peace, guys.
For
Yep.
us. Wow,
Unbelievable.
wow, that's a big get.
Can I have an autograph on your way out?
Let's move on now to bold predictions, guys. We'll round it out here by talking about our bold predictions. And who do I have going first here? Brendan Vogt. It's good to have you back.
Wow. Yeah, thanks.
Wow.
I got to say, Marcus, good-looking guy.
Good-looking fella.
Yeah.
Very good-looking, yeah.
All right, so here's a really hot take that I actually think is on the table right away. Markus Howard walks in and leads the G League in scoring.
Presuming that he gets to play in the G
Presuming there
he
is a
gets
G
to, oh,
League.
right, that's right.
It's a lot of bold
Presuming that there
elements
is
to this
one.
prediction.
Yeah, that's arguably the boldest element
is
in
the
play here.
boldest.
But look, I've looked at the leaders. Frank Mason, right? These are small guys that can average like 25, 26 in the G League. Why can't Marcus Howard do that? And this is a league that emphasizes getting 10 threes up a game if you can
It's
do
a
it.
point guard league.
Yeah, that boy's going to fill it. He's going to have a fun time in the G League, fellas.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Right? Who's
My bold prediction's even
no. It's
even
actually
wilder.
me. It's me. I have a bold prediction.
We'll do it
I'm supposed to go
sort of live.
We'll do it sort of live. I think I'm less bold. I think he's going to score 40 in the G League.
This to me, Adam,
game.
is a given. This is like 100%.
40's a lot, though, man. Like the 40.
I mean,
a lot.
Torrey Craig had what, 37 in the G
Yeah,
League?
Torrey Craig again, G League LeBron James.
Where can I bet on Marcus Howard dropping 40 in the G League?
Probably on
DraftKings, holler
DraftKings.
at me.
Let's
On
go.
DraftKings, yeah, there you go. Mine, you know what? I think he's going to have some highs, but he's got to prove it to me. I like him. I like what I see, but he's got to prove it to me. Up next.
You guys ready for this?
Oh boy.
Okay, I know this is a little wild. I know this is a little wild.
What are we smoking here, bro?
This is bold. I don't even know how much I believe this, but I'm saying there's a chance because if we were doing this show a year ago, well, maybe a little over a year ago, and I would have said PJ Dozier was going to be in the Nuggets rotation by the playoffs, you guys would have laughed me off this
That's
set
true.
completely.
That is
And
kinda
he
true.
was for that Jazz series and part of the playoffs. Look, Marcus Howard, I think he's going to walk into the Nuggets gym and be the best shooter on this roster.
Whoa.
I think he's got a chance to be like a Seth Curry type guy. Denver could use that guy in the playoffs. I could see a scenario out there.
I've got a set of follow-up questions, though. How tall is PJ Dozier?
He's 6'6".
Okay, how tall is Marcus Howard?
He's 5'11".
Okay, there's my difference.
But Troy Daniels was on the roster. He was the shooter. He didn't get in last year.
he
I mean,
didn't.
so there is the mold that has made. But you know what? It's your own bold prediction. You get to have your own hot
That's
take.
true.
a
It's
little
its own
too bold.
special little day.
It's all right.
Eric, do you have a hot take here?
I think he'll score 50 points. I'll see your
Wow.
bold prediction. I will raise
There
you, my
you are
friend.
raising it.
That reads like
50
someone.
points in the G League.
Why? I mean, why not? Like, I think we're all sort of in the same. Everyone but Harrison, who is coming out
He
of
is a
complete left
rotation
field.
player
Like, I think that we all believe that he's just going to absolutely fill it up in the G League. And like, why not? Why would he not score 50 points in the G League?
I mean, look, man, that's a really bold take. You're very brave, very brave. I feel like none of our bold takes will take place. Actually, I think they're
I
all
Well,
think
the
one
G
of them
League has to
got a
take
chance.
place
I
first.
think yours is like a lock.
a
I'm gonna be
40,
honest.
a
Yeah.
40 piece.
3 of them are contingent
So
on their
Adams
being
is a
G-League.
lock, and mine is that much.
40, bro, but not 50. That is Marcus Howard. We're going to move on now into our premium sections. What is up, everybody, and welcome to The List. The List is a film study deep dive on the Denver Nuggets. If you're a subscriber or a member at DNVR, for just $5 a month, you get access to all of our premium content, and that includes this, The List, where I walk you through different clips or highlights of Denver Nuggets games that I find interesting. Today we're going to talk about Marcus Howard, and I want to go first to our synergy stats. If we look at it, the number one thing you got to know about Marcus Howard is that he is a scorer, a bucket getter, and an incredible shooter. One of the best shooters we've ever seen at the college basketball level. And we're going to start off by talking about his off-the-dribble scoring, and in particular, his off-the-dribble scoring in the pick and roll here as a ball handler. You're going to look, 40% of his shots or possessions that ended in a turnover or a field goal attempt or a foul draw came out of the pick and roll as a ball handler. It's by far his most common form of action. And in particular, shooting off the dribble. That's what's so interesting about Marcus Howard. He's such a talented scorer off the dribble. So let's go through some of these plays here and take a look. You got him up top here at the top of the key. You see the big guy coming in to set a screen. What he's going to do here is make it look like he's going to set a screen on the right side of the defender and then flip it over to the left. And the reason he does that is to try to drag the big away to the wrong side. And he's going to be successful at it. You see the big jumps to the wrong side. Marcus Howard able to step right into an open shot and drain it. If you get Marcus Howard an open shot, he is going to make them. Here's another look at it. Jumps to the other side, gets just enough daylight. Boom, knocks it down. 40% three-point shooter all 4 years in college. Here's another one. Catches a guy on a hip, and look at the contest. This is what stands out to Marcus Howard. At just 5'11", almost all of his three-pointers were contested. And you're seeing this, a guy right up in his grill. There's no space right now in between him. and he is able to drain it, kind of an off-balance, awkward shot. 4 years in a row of making 40% of his threes. This last season, 10 3-point attempts a game, still shot 40%. The guy's an absolute dead-eye shooter. If you give him any window of space, he's going to knock it down, and that is true of off the dribble. He's not just a catch-and-shoot shooter. In fact, he's almost just as good off the dribble as he is on a catch-and-shoot or a spot-up, and you're going to see a bunch of different examples here. Flip the screen on him, doesn't work, so he'll just ISO. Gets just enough daylight to be able to get a shot off again. Again, I think Markus Howard is the best shooter on the team. So you see this plant foot, toe-to-toe, defender right on him. Just enough just enough room for him to get enough daylight and drain the three. He's so good at this. I mean, he's, in my opinion, the best shooter on the team and one of the best shooters, that we've ever seen at any level. Here again, gets on the outside, steps back, and one, drains the shot. Just I could show you a reel of him making these throughout his college career. It would take 20 minutes just to get through all of them. And it's not just the three-point line. He also can get into that mid-range zone and drain the three. He really is a three-level scorer. Then look at shots like this. Ridiculous turnaround jumper, doesn't matter. He is an elite off of the dribble scorer, and in particular in the pick and roll if he can get just a little bit of daylight. We pull this up again and we take a look at Markus Howard on coming off of screens. Now, not quite as frequent, only 11.5% of his possessions directly off of screens, although this number is a little deflated because he does a lot of running around screens, catching the ball, and then working in isolation or running a pick and roll or doing something else. But you watch Marquette play, they run him off of an enormous amount of screens, and he was also in the 82nd percentile on this, an incredibly efficient scorer. So if we go back to our video over here, let me pull it up, running off screens. We go back to our video here, and you're going to keep an eye on him, number 0. Really, really good and crafty at not just coming out. He has an option here to go this side, this side. You're going to see he exits out this side. Defender goes over the screen, so he flares to the corner. He's got good footwork, and then even if he doesn't get open off of it, he's just always ready to shoot. I'm telling you, this guy, almost none of his shots were easy. Here he is again, running off screens, taking different angles, making the defender work, and then very quick trigger, very quick release, always thinking score. And he's just so dynamic at this. Again, Marquette used him like this a lot. Same thing on this one as the last one. You're going to see the defender, the defender here go over the top of the screen, so he fades to the corner. And just such good balance. You'll see that shooting form. He's so consistent with it, even when he's taking shots that are, difficult angles or whatever. Running off another one. Turn around. Look at this. Contested. He's not even open. Doesn't matter. He's always seeing the rim. Just an absolutely elite shooter. Another one. Quick release. I mean, you see how long it takes. It doesn't take him long. Once he catches that ball, watch how quickly he goes into the shot. There's really not that much motion. You can't blame the defender on this shot for not being closer. The defender closes out, follows him around. We're right there, lockstep with him. It doesn't matter. Confident shooter that just drains these. And then, of course, same goes for his spot ups here. If you're just talking about catch and shoots or kickouts or anything like that, slightly more than off screen, but even better, the 99th percentile. And remember, he's taking over 10 threes a game. So for his efficiency to rake in the 99th percentile, that shows you that this guy is truly a special scorer whenever he gets even the tiniest little shred of space to work with. Let's take a look here. Here you get him on the wing, guy in his face, elevates. If you don't have a hand up, I mean, even if you have a hand up, he's just such a committed shooter that it's going to go up. But if you close out on him hands down, right here, boom, you're done. Gonna elevate right over you. Just always has his eye on the basket. Watch how focused he is on scoring on these plays. Hands up, doesn't matter. Still shooting. Shooting with confidence and in stride. You got to close out all the way on him and expect that he's only going to shoot it. Hand up, doesn't matter. No space, doesn't matter. And then if you lose him and give him an open one, that's automatic. Too much space. Look at this pass. This just shows you a true shooter. Look at this pass and where it arrives at him. Right at his ankles. And it wasn't just the shooting with him. He's not just a shooter. He's a pure scorer. I mean, shooting is what stands out, and that's what he does at volume. But he's also great at getting contact, drawing fouls, getting into the mid-range, working off of the dribble. Everything that has to do with scoring, Markus Howard is pretty elite at it at the college level. Here you're going to see him working, getting into the rim. And if we slow this down, watch him draw the contact. Because he's so small, watch the angle he takes here. The big steps in, and he's not going to try to avoid the big. He's going to go right at him, and you see him jump in, draw the contact. He's great at that, and it's one of the questions about him at the next level, if he's going to still get these same type of calls. But at the college level, he was really, really good at this, drawing the contact and finishing. Being as small as he is, he still was very aggressive looking for contact. He didn't shy away from it. And he has a phenomenal hezzy. I mean, here you see him get to the basket, finish. A fantastic finisher, not just a great shooter, but a great finisher around the red. And then this is his signature move, especially out of the pick and roll. Look at that hezzy. Here, I'll rewind it a bit because it skips a little whenever I pause it. But watch this hezzy here. Freezes the big, boom, gets one step on him, and then doesn't go away from contact, goes into it, finishes, and gets the foul. This is his skill set. And then this one is a great example because even though he doesn't get the foul call, the big knows. I mean, he's just so good at going at the big. So as the big rotates down to try to block him, he realizes that he's too late, and you'll see him go to jump and then jump away because Markus Howard is going right at him, and then he makes the easy layup. So he's just so good at, if he gets that first step on you, at completing it. And then awkward, he just, because he's so small, he's got every finish in the book. He sometimes does seek out contact and doesn't get the call, and you'll see like a hard fall there. And that's why the question about can he do this at the next level is there. But look at that freeze move and that touch. His floater game is also absolutely on point. Going to be one of the best floater shooters, in large part because he has to be. You'll see these nice stops, this nice touch. He's a bucket getter, a pure bucket getter. And then drawing fouls on the perimeter because he is such a dynamic, scorer. If you give him too much space, he's going to shoot. If you overplay him, he's really crafty with that hezzy and really crafty with the shot fake and getting into the body. So let's get into some of the negatives. I mean, this guy was undrafted. He's joining the Nuggets on a two-way contract. If he's as good as the numbers say he is as a shooter, why did he drop? Well, in large part because he is a 10 out of 10 as a scorer. I don't think he's even, great at anything else. He's average or below at so many other skills, including his body. I mean, he's 5'11", really tiny. He's going to have a hard time at the NBA at that size. He's not necessarily speedy. He's very crafty, very skilled, but he's not necessarily like dynamic speed or anything like that. And so beyond the physical things, though, there's also the shot selection. It's very difficult, I think, to be a guy that has that confidence and is always thinking shoot and has shoots with confidence the way that Markus Howard does without being a guy that kind of keys in on the rim a little bit. And if we watch this play here, you're going to have guy in the corner, and you're going to have the whole defense sort of commit to him. And he doesn't realize he got to kick out to the corner for a wide open guy. You got to kick out here. You got two trailers and a rim protector. Most dynamic point guards who have more than just the scoring in their game, they're going to find one of these two guys. Markus Howard always attacking, trying to get there, doesn't make anything of that play. And it's not a one-off. This is indicative of how he plays as a whole. He's very much a looking at the basket at all times type of player. Also with his size, look at this shot. 30 seconds on the shot, or 20 seconds on the shot clock, 17 seconds. He takes a step back contested long two. I mean, this is pretty much, analytically speaking, the worst shot in basketball. But he's one of those guys where I just showed you a highlight reel of him making incredibly tough shots. And if you look at the numbers, he was an incredibly efficient one-on-one player. But the great players, the Steph Currys, the Damian Lillards, not only do they make tough shots, but they know when to take them. And there's other aspects of their game that benefit from it. With Markus Howard, I don't think he's a great passer. And he takes too many of these shots that if he's making them, he's producing for you. If he's not, there's not a whole lot else coming off. He's pretty much a pure scorer at this phase. That's one of the things he's going to have to work on at the G League. Another one of these, 15 seconds on the shot clock, gets a little antsy, not really set, foot on the line. Just not a great shot here. And if you watch him play, if you run the film, he actually does this a lot. He's really amazing. Like, his mix takes are really awesome. And look at that miss. I mean, that's a horrible miss off the side of the backboard. But again, just always looking at the basket, always thinking score. 23 seconds on the shot clock and gets that one up. Then lastly, let's take a look at his passing. I mentioned how he's, a little bit of a gunner, always eyes on the basket, fantastic scorer, but his passing is also just not great. He makes some basic reads. If you're a point guard and a 4-year starter, you got a guy in the corner here, you get one defender out with the shot fake, and then look at this one-handed pass. This sails over the head. This isn't necessarily a difficult pass. It's medium difficulty, but he's not even close on that one. And again, this is sort of indicative of his weakness and why he's a G League player and not an NBA player. But it's obviously something he can work on. Here's another just bad read. Teams that really gave him a hard time swarmed him and dared them to beat him with his passing. And more often than not, he wasn't able to do that. Just didn't read the court that well for a point guard. Same thing here, a little pocket pass, just not on the same page with his teammate. Over dribbling a little bit, all over, and then ends up getting himself into a position of a trap. Another over dribbling example here. Longer defenders on him, just crowding his space. Trust your backside defense, and then hunt for opportunities to get him like this. Should be an easy pass for a kick out. Doesn't work, but such a good scorer. Resets, shot fakes, and gets it. That play, maybe more than any others, is gives you the full Markus Howard experience. If we just reset it here, we're going to get a great split the defense, running pick and roll up the top of the key. Defense is compromised, 4 guys collapse, guy wide open, unable to make that play. But secure the ball, immediately reset. Watch this closeout and watch how perfectly he gets this defender. Shot fake, relocate, nothing but net. There's Markus Howard for you. Really interesting player for the Nuggets, and I think somebody that we're going to have a lot of fun in the G League. But if you look at the tape, what stands out to me is that he's really got to grow every other aspect but his scoring. And then you have the question mark about whether he's going to be able to handle it just with his size and his frame. He's going to add some weight, add some strength, and really add some of the rest of the parts of his game so that maybe he can become one of these guys that can be a instant scorer off the bench or somebody like that. Unlike an Isaiah Thomas, who I think was a great scorer and passer altogether, Markus Howard, an elite shooter, as good as anybody in the NBA, even currently as a shooter when you talk about every type of shot, but the other parts of his game are a little lacking.
All right, so here's what I'm hearing when it comes to Markus Howard, the two-way player that the Nuggets signed after he went undrafted just a couple weeks ago in the draft. One source close to the team told me that right now, Markus Howard might be the best shooter in the Nuggets gym. Yes, that's on a team with Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Bol Bol even. Markus Howard was arguably the best shooter in college over the last 4 seasons, and this person who's been around the team, who's seen Howard shoot, who's seen obviously everybody on this roster shoot, thinks that he's got a case to be the best shooter on the Nuggets right now. I also talked to one scout in the NBA who said he could see Markus Howard playing a Seth Curry role for the Nuggets. Not somebody who's got the ball in his hands a ton, not somebody who's really asked to play make out of the pick and roll, but a guy who just comes off screens and spots up and knocks down jumpers. That's what Markus Howard could really do, and this scout sees him potentially, if he reaches his ceiling, as a Seth Curry type player. We know that's not somebody the Nuggets have really had. Also, one scout speculated that Howard on a 2-way contract, that's the type of guy you want on a 2-way contract, especially in a year like this. We don't know kind of how COVID's going to impact the season from where we sit right now. You're going to want guys on 2-way contracts, according to this scout, who aren't shy, who are going to go out there if they are called on to play, if there's injuries, if guys have to miss games for COVID. You want guys on 2-way contracts that are going to go out there, look for their shot, and not be intimidated. So this scout really liked Howard for the Nuggets in that regard. And also, another scout told me that Markus Howard probably would have been a top 20 pick, maybe even a lottery pick, if he was 6'2 or 6'3. The fact that he's 5'11 is really the big reason why he went undrafted.
What's up, guys? D-Line here with the Fan Take. We're talking Markus Howard. What does the Fan me think of Markus Howard. I don't know what to make of Markus Howard. I know that he is an unbelievable shooter. I know that the Nuggets are needing unbelievable shooters. I also know he's basically Vogt's height, which doesn't which doesn't make me that excited as a fan. But I do notice that he also has dark, smoldering eyes. This is the third time I've mentioned it today. The other guys don't like when I bring it up, but you know what? I don't care. This is my section. This is my segment. He has the eyes of a killer. And when you look into the soul of a man, you go through the eyes. If he's able to harness that kind of energy and bring it to the court, along with the devil-may-care attitude, I think he's going to light the G League up this year. But who knows? Maybe one day he'll have a spot in the rotation. I can't wait, baby. Let's go.
What's up, guys? I'm Brendan Vogt. Welcome back into the Fan Vogt. Ready to read some more results from these player preview polls. Question number 1. Will Markus Howard lead his G League team in scoring? Almost no doubt from you guys. 83% say yes. I think it's really likely he leads his G League team in scoring. I just wish that G League team was in Denver. I actually think this is a guy you would buy tickets to go see. Next question, where will Markus rank in G League scoring league-wide? 28% of you thought it might be top 10 or lower, and only 14% of you are willing to ride with my bold take that Markus Howard will walk in year 1 and lead the G League in scoring. Will Markus Howard play much with the Nuggets? I gave you guys 3 options. Will this be a Craig-esque two-way impact? Garbage time only, G League only. You guys think you'll see him in a Nuggets uniform, but only in garbage time. So I think it's the right answer. By the way, might be fun garbage time minutes. This guy could score 15 real quick if no one cares about the outcome of the game. Finally, I asked you, where does Markus Howard rank on the roster in pure shooting ability? Gave you options 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or lower. 30% of you had him at 3rd. And the next top answer was 29.5% of you who thought he might be the top shooter on the roster. Look, it might be him or MPJ.
Huh?
Markus Howard, you're going to hear from Harrison Wind about this, but I think this is a guy who, if he was taller, we might be talking about late lottery talent. You don't just lead college in scoring like that unless you can really light it up. So Markus Howard, really entertaining player, one of the best shooters on the roster, but a lot of questions between him and making that rotation.